What makes evidence worthy of trust? By Richard Jonathan O. Taduran, Ph.D. Recent impeachment proceedings have thrust the unglamorous mechanics of evidence into the public spotlight. Documentary errors, photocopied records, marked exhibits, and official conclusions presented by government institutions. These issues may appear procedural, even trivial, beside the political stakes involved, yet they raise a question that extends far beyond any single proceeding. What makes evidence worthy of trust? Evidence integrity, the assurance that an item remains identifiable, complete, traceable, and substantially unchanged from its source, is the answer. It requires more than confidence in the institution offering it. Evidence deserves trust because its history, handling, and analytical use can be independently examined. This standard protects everyone. It protects the accused from unreliable claims, investigators from unfair accusations, institutions from reputational damage, and the public from conclusions that cannot withstand scrutiny. Errors, copies, and the chain of custody. No investigative process is entirely free from human error. Reports contain typos, wrong dates, missing signatures, or improperly reproduced pages. However, the existence of an error does not automatically invalidate evidence. A typographical mistake in a report does not alter an authentic recording or transform a genuine document into a fake. But neither should every irregularity be dismissed simply as a typo. Errors must be evaluated according to what they affect. Cosmetic errors involve spelling or formatting without altering meaning or source. Administrative errors involve minor documentation gaps that can be resolved through independent records. Material errors affect fundamental elements such as identity, provenance, custody, or chronology. The proper question is not merely whether an error exists, but whether it interrupts traceability. An incorrect date is harmless when the correct date is established by independent records. It becomes serious when timing determines whether an investigative action occurred before or after a crucial event. Calling an irregularity a typographical error is not an explanation. It is a proposed classification that must itself be supported. Investigators must be able to identify the accurate information, explain how the mistake occurred, show where the correct data independently appears, and demonstrate that no conclusion relied upon the erroneous entry. This is basic quality assurance. The same principle applies to photocopies. A copy is not inherently unreliable, just as an original is not inherently truthful. The question is whether the copy accurately reproduces an identifiable source and what it might conceal. Photocopies easily obscure physical artifacts, such as pen pressure, subtle ink alterations, paper depth, or sequence of stroke evidence that only an original document reveals. The value of a copy therefore depends on several questions. It matters who made the copy, what original was reproduced, whether all annotations and seals remain visible, and whether anything was cropped or obscured. These questions determine evidentiary value far more than the label attached to the document. A photocopy can be a faithful reproduction of a lie or an incomplete reproduction of the truth. Neither possibility is resolved by the word copy. Similarly, marking a document as an exhibit merely provides a shared identifier for reference. It proves nothing about authenticity or truth. An exhibit number is an identifier, not a certificate of truth. Documentary imperfections become dangerous not because they exist, but when they cannot be reconstructed, corrected, or transparently explained. Method over reputation. Official conclusions carry weight. Courts and the public assume that an established institution uses standardized procedures and expert review. That presumption is a reasonable starting point, but it cannot be the end point. Institutional reputation cannot substitute for visible methodology. Evidence and interpretation must be separated. An authentic recording proves that certain words were spoken, but it does not automatically prove intent or the existence of an operational plan. An authentic document proves that an allegation was recorded, not that the allegation is true. Each additional conclusion increases the inferential distance between the evidence and the claim. That inferential distance can be understood in stages. Direct observation concerns what the item itself records. Contextual interpretation concerns what the item may imply when considered alongside surrounding facts. Inferred intent or action involves broader conclusions about plans, motives, or conduct. The farther a conclusion travels beyond direct demonstration, the greater the need for methodological explanation. A defensible conclusion must identify the question examined, the materials considered, the criteria applied, the alternative explanations evaluated, and the limitations of the data. It must distinguish direct observation from interpretation and interpretation from speculation. Otherwise, institutional reasoning risks circularity. The conclusion is treated as credible because an agency reached it, while the agency is considered reliable because it produced the conclusion. Authority may introduce a conclusion. Only method can justify it. Acknowledging uncertainty and evidentiary limits is not a sign of incompetence. It is evidence of disciplined analysis. Traceability is the foundation of trust. Evidence integrity requires that important actions, changes, and conclusions remain traceable. The evidence must be traceable to its source. A copy must be traceable to the original. A correction must be traceable to the mistake. A conclusion must be traceable to a transparent method. These questions matter most when consequences are serious. Evidence affects liberty, reputation, public office, and institutional legitimacy. Procedural care is not a distraction from justice. It is what makes justice possible. Strong evidence does not weaken when tested. Proper scrutiny identifies what evidence establishes, what it suggests, and what remains unproven. Evidence integrity is the discipline that allows truth to be trusted.